Okay, welcome to the first class on Premiere Pro. We'll be going through the basics, how to import a video and how to export a video. So when you start your Premiere Pro, this is the first screen that you see with your recent projects, your team projects and everything. A few differences will be there depending on the Premiere Pro you'll be using. So let's just get into the new project. So for this, we can call it 1, and I'm comfortable with all these other settings that are there, and hit OK. Now, one quick thing before you can even get into Premiere Pro is knowing the machine that you're using. So I can just press Windows E and check the properties of my computer. So the reason for doing this is Premiere Pro is a highly CPU intensive program and the GPU isn't highly utilized. So for most of these things, my GPU is almost being used 0%. However, the CPU on the other hand is something that is highly utilized. So if you're having anything smaller than this, 4th gen i3, it's best for you to use Premiere Pro 2015. Because at the end of the day, the software doesn't really matter. What will matter is how you use the software that you have. So starting from something like 2015 wouldn't really hurt you for your minor editing, since you'll be using huge footage on top of a high CPU intensive program that will really make the system slow. So it's best to use 2015, 2016, those versions. Okay, having said that, we can begin. So upon opening, this is the layout that I get. However, yours might be different. We have these workflow tabs that are above. So if I was to click on, say, editing, this changes my workflow. I have 2 windows there, 2 windows on the bottom. But because I'm not using any other external screens, I prefer using the effects window. And you can really reshape these things depending on how you want to use the space that you have. Looking at this being a 15.6 screen without any other external monitor connected, I feel effects is the best thing for me, having my input window, my output window, and my timeline over here. Okay, so importing footage is simply as going on your projects tab. So we have the effects tab and we have the projects tab. It says import media to start. You can double click that space and it opens a new window where you can choose whatever media you want. Picture, video, audio, anything. So clicking open brings it up. Alternatively, you can simply look for whatever it is and just drag it out onto your projects tab. Okay, now that we're back into the program, we can see we have imported these 2 files. So beginning to edit is just as simple as dragging out the video that you want onto your timeline. And upon dragging it on your timeline, it appears with its entire length. So you have, just putting some more focus on this, we have V1, V2, V3. The V stands for video. So your videos, your pictures, everything will be appearing under the V tabs. Then underneath that is the audio, for audio, as it just says. So next to each V is the eye icon, and if we can see, once this has been clicked, it hides a video that, it hides a track that we don't want. Say we had another video above this, the same video can be placed on top, and say it's disturbing, we don't want that, simply toggling it off reveals what's underneath. So this will be underneath a different class that we'll have on layering and masking, where this will be understood better. For now, the goal of this video is how to import footage and how to export it as a final video. Going in fully, we have this monitor that shows you what exactly you are seeing. So of course, hitting play or spacebar will begin playing whatever it is that's playing, and you have the different things. You have zooming in case you want to add certain or see how your footage is. That's not really important for now. And we have this, which really is of utmost importance depending on how heavy your footage is. Supposing I have say 1080p footage and my machine can't really support that, I can simply just reduce the quality of the image to a quarter or half or full. So if you be seeing on your timeline, depending on the footage that you have, it's color coded. Green, yellow means this can easily be supported in full or in half, in whatever resolution that you want. If you happen to have footage that's color coded as red on top there, it's most likely that you should reduce your quality to a quarter. Okay, so removing footage that you don't want is a simple delete. So you just ensure that you click everything that you are editing or highlighting or want to have focus on will change to a highlighted color. So to delete, you make sure you've clicked on it and you hit the delete button. Now, supposing we just wanted a few seconds out of this entire clip, say maybe something from here. We just want 30 seconds of this clip and not the entire clip and not the clip in its entirety. For starters, you can click I for your in point where you want your video to start. You scrub through where you want it to be, and you'll notice at this time from it being, this entire footage is 7 minutes long. So Control Z. It's back to being 2 minutes. So let's say we just want 30 seconds of it. You hit O for the output part. So we can see now that it's 14 seconds. 30 seconds. So just reducing that to exactly 30 seconds. 29. Okay, say we're happy with this. Okay, so if we just want this 30 seconds, you have 3 ways of getting this. You click on the input window, clicking right here and dragging it down gets both the video and the audio. So that's 29 seconds is what comes underneath there. But supposing we do not necessarily want to get both the audio and the video, you could simply just drag this playish video-ish icon, and this gives you the video only. So if we hit play, you can see that it's just a blank video playing with no audio. The inverse is also true. If you just want to get the audio, you simply just drag the audio, and as you can see, it doesn't support it being under the video tracks, but the audio tracks, it's clearly coming in. So exporting this video will just give us a blank video with the same resolution, but with no video, just audio. So I want to get the video only, and this time I want to get my own audio. So importing audio is as simple as that, either double clicking there and looking for its location, or simply dragging, and it's dragged in there. So as usual, we also want to get something that's of equal length, which is 29.24 seconds. So let's just say 30 seconds. So we can scrub up through the 30-second point and just hit out or for our out point, and we're simply dragging it onto the timeline. So playing this will give us a different audio. Okay, now supposing, because this audio is 30 seconds 16 milliseconds, whilst this I believe was 29 and some seconds, we can zoom in so that we can have a precise cut. So 2 ways of zooming in on your keyboard. You have your plus and your minus key. So of course ensure that the tab that you're selecting is highlighted. So we want to zoom in on our timeline, so the highlight has to be on our timeline window. So hitting our plus zooms in, or in case you don't have your keyboard, the dragging this timeline filter zooms in, and dragging it out zooms it out. So we can clearly see that the video and the audio are not of the same length. You could press down button to go to the end of whatever it is that you want, and the up button is to go up 1 track. So from here to there, instead of dragging it like that, you can simply just press down and it will come to the end of this video. Again, if you press down, it comes to the end of the audio. Okay, so we want our audio and video to be the same. You have a tool here called the Razer Tool for cutting, which our keyboard is showing is C. So there are 2 ways. Pressing C or clicking the Razer Tool and just come in. So Premiere helps you being accurate in terms of cutting. So two ways it helps you. Wherever this part of the video is, cutting is made really simpler, or just at the edge of wherever it is you want to cut, it gives you some precision if that's the end of one track. So you can cut that out, and we click back the selecting tool. So let me just redo that. So Ctrl Z. So for starters, we chose the Razer Tool and we cut it out. And we're still on the Razer Tool because we need to delete this part. We change back to the selecting tool, or press V for the selecting tool. We select the audio we don't want and delete. So that was method 1. Method 2 is simply just clicking whatever it is that we want to trim or extend. At the end of every track asset that will be on your timeline, if you can clearly see, the selection tool changes from a trim tool to an extending tool. So if you click and hold and move it to the right, it extends whatever it is that you have. So if this audio, let's say, was 30 seconds, me extending it to the right increases its length, and me extending it to the left trims it out. So that is trimmed out. Okay, so one more thing. Suppose we want to add a picture onto our video. So again, we look for the path where that particular asset is and join it to the projects tab. Double clicking, and this time, as you can see, this is a picture. There's no audio to it. There's no audio to it, so we're just selecting the video only. And now this makes the video 34 seconds, but let's say if I want it to be 40 seconds, I'm just extending how long I want that image. And the same is true if I want to reduce it. I'm simply just doing that. So if I want the audio to include part of this logo, I am simply extending the audio out. So passing through the video, this is what's there. Okay, so we're done with that. To export this as our final video, while selecting the timeline, ensure that the timeline is selected. You can press Ctrl M. Again, if you can't press Ctrl M, you can always go to File and Export. So you're exporting it as media. The shortcut is Ctrl M, like I said earlier. Okay, so the export settings window comes up where we can choose different things. So for format, ensure that you're on H.264, which is best. If you've got higher formats, you choose, but H.264. And the preset that you would want, this is basically the quality, the resolution. It's best to leave it on match source. So what this basically means is if the video you are working with was in 1080, it will be exported as a 1080 video, 1080p video. If it was a 720, it exports as a 720. If it was 4K, it exports as a 4K video. However, let's say certain situations call for you wanting it to have a lower resolution, you could always choose Android tablet 720p at 25 frames, 24 frames, 30 frames. It's all up to you, the different formats that are there. But for the sake of this video, we'll stick to the match source, high bitrate. Before that, we also could want to change the name of the video. Say we're naming it 1. And choosing the location we want, whether we want it to be in music, whether we want it to be in our documents, on the desktop. You hit save if you're happy with the location, and you simply hit export, and it begins exporting as a final video. Okay, so this has been the end of the class. It has been a basic on an introduction to Premiere Pro, what you should know, and just how to basically export videos. See you in the next class. Peace.
All my Razers are dog, my baby just left me. I got my brother IX. Two heads is better than one. He told me he bring the cutter, we cutting out ultras. The NBA course, we planting the juices, the Christ is the truth, and yeah.